Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we would like to see about the topic of a user story. I'm going to be referring to this site here, Extreme Programming or xprogramming.com by Ron Jeffries. This talks a good deal about user story. A little bit, let's backtrack a little bit and go to how did the concept of a user story start. User stories started because we needed a valuable artifact that was not too heavy on process, but at the same time gave us enough leeway for us to be able to use it in a flexible way for us to move forward in any specific deliverable or delivery. And that's how user stories started. Most of you would already be aware of what a user story is, but let me not directly get into what a user story is. User story is basically an artifact that is used predominantly to make sure that we focus on the central actor or the user. Today, if you look at use cases, which is also another way that we have been used to documenting system requirements from business users, we think of it as system interactions. And sometimes what happens is that we miss the why part of it because we don't talk about the user. Not essentially wrong, but it's just that that might be the key facet of why you want to build a system. What if the user did not want the system, or he wanted a different aspect of the system? The user story helps you focus on that, and that's why it's predominantly called a user story and not just a story, a user story. Now that we have covered the user part of it, let's come to the story part of it. The reason why we actually use the word story, or it is a story, is because it is just like how any other folklore goes. It starts with the moral of the story, or it starts with the goal that the user story wants to accomplish. Um, if you get it down to the system terms, it actually is a list of all the accepted tests. Now, there are three C's or three critical aspects in a user story. They're called card, conversation, and confirmation. It's a card because it's written on the typical cards that you have got. The reason it is written on a card is because it's easier. It's a very visible artifact. You can make it visible. You can use it to track transparency, see progress. It has just enough information for you to start work. What's the next step of it? It's a conversation. Other key thing that we want to do as a part of any lean or agile process is the fact that we want to have a conversation around artifacts so that it's easier for us to exchange thoughts and it's easier for us to progress from there. The other key thing in cognitive science is that it's a lot easier for us to understand and communicate thoughts when we have a conversation about it rather than being handed over a document and being able to interpret from it. Interpretation leads to loss of assumptions and a lot of other implicit details, which comes out in conversations because you can say, I don't really understand you, which you can't do to a document. It's more tangible, and hence the ability for you not to understand it might not make so much sense. So that's why it helps a conversation. It also helps a confirmation because of two key aspects. One is that there is a set of tests that a specific user story needs to pass, or a user needs to see to confirm that it is exactly what he requires. So the user or the product owner needs to confirm that that is exactly what we started with in the first place. If it's anybody else, they might also look at how much have we progressed. So it's a confirmation of your overall plan. And that's exactly how a user story as a card is also used in your Kanbanish, Leanish, Agilish processes. And that's basically about a user story. We will go into detail of what needs to be constituting a user story. Obviously, it's a very subjective topic. It depends from organization to organization. I will leave the link to the website here, xprogramming.com/, user story. This is a really good one. I would also encourage you to go read Agile Samurai, which is also a pretty good book. I'll also leave you a link to that book. Please go read about it. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.